this session is all about how to get ready yourself and ensure that your team is ready for very significant accelerating growth in AI and technology and what that means for us as people. So those of you that don't know me, I'm Jennifer Vessels. I run a global consulting company, Next Step, and I do a lot of keynotes and advisement on AI and technology and what that means. Joined by Thomas Sanglero. If you want to say just one word about yourself, Thomas.
One word. Hello, everyone. Okay, Jennifer. I'll be speaking once Jennifer's done with her presentation. Then I will be presenting for all of you as well. So, Jennifer, please continue.
Excellent, excellent. So this is indeed a journey that we are taking together. I personally believe in this day and age, we as a global society are co-creating what the future looks like. And so for me and Thomas, it's a pleasure to walk through this journey with you. We encourage you to do a couple of things. One is at the end of the session to scan, and I'll bring this little QR code back up to give us some feedback on the session that will help us to continue to make these better and better. And then to register for our next step in the process, which is the 27th of August, when we'll be coming back, and some of you will be coming back from summer holidays. A lot will happen in 2 months, and we see that that will really be the time to embrace and act. So we'll give you some very tangible actions to take when we come back together in August. Today, please engage. Use the chat for questions. Feel free as we take breaks between sharing insights to raise your hand, ask questions, and please feel free to not only comment, but to argue back. Thomas and I have points of view, we have experience, we are not experts. No one is an expert on AI and the future of work. We're building that expertise together.
Yeah, may I just interject? So,
Please.
yeah, this is, I believe, our fourth session, is it? This is number 4, I believe, right?
I
And then
believe so.
Yeah, and the last 3 sessions went really well because all of the participants asked so many questions, either in the chat window or they just said, hey, may I ask a question? And it's been a lot of fun, right? So if you want to get the most out of this, please, as I always like telling people, because I'm from New York City, go into New York mode and interrupt us, be rude, and say, hey, I disagree with you, or something like that. Have some fun. This is not formal. It shouldn't be. But we're sharing everything that we've learned. And please share with us your questions, share the things that you've learned, and let's enjoy this journey into the future. So with that, Jennifer, take off. Let's do this.
Perfect, perfect. In the 6 months since Thomas and I kicked this off, I have seen a huge shift in the adoption and in the attitudes and in the mindset towards AI. When we started the journey back in November of 23, people were saying, yes, we're all in for AI. But it was a lot of lip service. A lot of people, when you really peeled it back to say, what does that mean? They were saying, it's the right words, but I don't know how, or I'm afraid, or it's a big bad wolf and I simply don't want to open that Pandora's box. And I will say in the 6 months since then, people have started leaning in. 91% of CEOs in global corporations are stating they are putting strategy, doubling investment, and relying on AI to be the future for them. That is starting to move down into the corporations. But we do still see there is some reticence, there is some question, and there's a lot of question about how do I do it? The answer on how is do what you're doing here. Get together with other people and explore. There isn't one right way. Figure out a problem that you're trying to solve. Talk to people, use an AI tool, see how it works for you, move forward. It's all about jumping in. That will prevent you and your company from being the Kodak or being the Nokia. And I see those two companies that we all have heard about as having two different challenges. Kodak thought they had everything perfect and they knew everything and they were right. Nokia probably thought that as well, but where Nokia missed the boat was on the market. They weren't looking at what their customers wanted. So today, as we move forward with speed into the AI journey, look internally at yourself, both your own mindset, but your team. Are we leaning forward and exploring? But also look to your customers. What do my customers look for? How are they using AI? And how can I match where they're going and take them even further? So it's definitely a journey, and it definitely needs a team. The interesting thing in my conversations with people, there's two camps when it comes to AI and people. One camp says AI is great and it is going to make our people that much more productive. They don't have to spend hours looking for the right picture to go on a PowerPoint. They can use DALL-E or they can use Firefly to create it in seconds. It frees our people from mundane tasks, things they probably weren't very good at doing to begin with. Because after all, we as people are not good at doing tedious things over and over. So one camp says, let's let the technology do those tedious tasks, freeing our people to give good customer service, go talk to people in the market, build partnerships, do things that people do well. Another camp says, oh, AI is bad because that's going to take our jobs. Now, I often say there's no right or wrong when it comes to AI and the future of work, but I do think it is wrong to say AI is bad because it's going to take our jobs. Because ultimately, AI can do a job. If all you do in your work can be done by AI, there's a bigger problem. You need to rethink how you approach your activities. You need to look at where you can use your creativity, your communication skills, your thinking skills, your people skills, because that's what people do best. So within your team, you need to really balance between people doing what people do well, technology doing what technology does well, and having a small intersection between, which are the technology experts that can help and guide the people in using the technology. Now, in one of our previous discussions, we brought up the idea of data scientists and prompt engineers and these technical specialists. And we had a lot of questions on people's mind of, isn't that expensive to have a team made up of technical people, especially in light of some of the recent statistics and news of huge salaries for technical experts? Yes, technical experts are expensive. However, I believe that you need very little of that technical expertise, and maybe you don't even need to hire somebody in-house. Maybe that is a service. Maybe that is an outside provider that you can leverage a little bit of expertise to connect your people skills to the technology. Where you need to really think about your team and building the skills is in the human skills that in the recent studies from BCG, from Harvard, from the US Labor Board, the skills that are going to be most valuable in the future are actually made up heavily, 3/4 of which around people skills. So for each of us, as we move away from doing those tedious, mundane tasks, let's build our skills around, firstly, communication. I was in a conversation yesterday in a workshop here in Norway where people asked me, so when you use a ChatGPT or a Copilot, how can you best get good results? My answer was, you become a good communicator. Because working with an AI tool requires the person to be clear, to be very distinct and specific, and to treat the tool conversationally. Good example, if you went to a marketing admin or your personal admin in the past and you said, I need a picture for my PowerPoint and it needs to look like Oslo and it needs to have people. If you're that vague, they may come up with something very, very different than what you had in mind. The same with DALL-E or Firefly. You have to be very specific. I'm building a PowerPoint for this audience that is interested in these things. I need a picture that communicates this. So people need to be clear in communicating and in listening. And that's both in listening when you're in verbal dialogue, but really listening to what comes back when you use an AI tool, and be discerning. Really think about what's coming back and what that's going to communicate. Critical thinking is a key aspect of using technology. And that's both thinking critically about what the tool provides, but also thinking critically about how this piece of work that I'm generating, thanks to some input from a tool, how that is going to really impact and be perceived by my customer. So build your communication and your customer service skills. Understand your customers and think towards the market. Avoid the Nokia problem of missing what customers were looking for. And building your communication and negotiation skills. In a world in which we rely more and more on technology for transactions, good customer service, meaning human skills, empathy, understanding, become more important than ever, and building that into negotiations to resolve issues, to avoid complaints, to move forward. And as Thomas noted, this requires a whole new way of leading. Leadership can no longer be about dictating and telling people what to do. The old style of management, as I would refer to it. Leadership in today's world moving forward is about collaboration. People understanding the members of their team, understanding what each person wants, needs, what their skills are, what their goals are, and collaborating together so that the individual's desires and values and directions are met while working together towards an aligned vision for the company. Those leaders need to be able to influence, not direct. And they must be able to build trust, which comes with empathy and good communications and critical thinking on how to move forward. So the 75% of the skills that will be needed in the future are human skills. These are the kinds of things that we can do when we release our mundane tasks to AI, allowing us to have the time to communicate clearly, to think differently, and to get to know our customers and our employees. That is then supported by having the technical skills, which can come from hiring or it can come from outsourced resources, both around artificial intelligence, but also in thinking forward. because we're seeing very fast movement of augmented reality, virtual reality, sped up through artificial intelligence, all of which, of course, does bring more security risk. So ensuring that you have a good base of cybersecurity, IT security, protocols within the company, and the expertise to keep people safe while they become stronger and better and more future-ready people in the workforce. So balancing people and technology skills is absolutely critical and becoming more so every moment. As we see across all industries, the accelerating adoption is growing momentally every day in healthcare, whether it's speeding research into new drugs, whether it's speeding research into diagnostics, whether it's speeding and providing the capabilities for doctors to provide the human care augmented by the technology. From Tesla's factory 5 years ago, which was already starting to be automated, to today, the prediction that all Tesla operations can be driven by AI, including the actual self-driving cars. That's moving us forward into the future. Integration of AI, predicting environmental impacts, speeds the ability of countries like Tuvalu, that's already built their platform for a virtual reality country if the sea levels rise where they no longer have arable land to live on, as well as education, which is an area that I believe is probably the #1 area prime for disruption and thinking differently. Because we have to be able as a society to educate people through experience, through learning by doing. It no longer makes sense to put people in a room and have an instructor talk to them about a book that was written 5 years ago. That's already outdated. People need to be encouraged, supported in learning by doing, exploring, and as you're doing today, coming together in groups and debating, dialoguing, and working with, or as some of our millennial clients have said, rolling around in it, because that's the way that we really truly learn. So the future is here. AI adoption is not just words to use. It needs to be daily and it needs to be in operation. And as Thomas will share in just a couple of moments, is growing faster and faster by the second. So I'm going to pause here and see what burning questions we have before we see some examples.
We have one really good question, and I'll read it out to you. Speaking about people's, so this is from Oliver Kunz, excuse me.
Kunz, yeah, right.
Kunz, I'm not German, I'm sorry. Oliver, would you like to have, you ask your question? Go ahead, Oliver, the stage is yours. Olivier, sorry, Olivier, please.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was thinking about these 4 pillars with all these skill sets that are needed in order to evolve, and I was thinking, okay, where is change management with that within this? Because I have the impression that where the challenge is not only to have the right skill set and the right habit and the right behaviors, but it's also making sure that you can keep traction with your people in the organization. And I think the pace of change, you just mentioned that, the pace of change is really increasing and will dramatically increase in the future. We won't see a slowdown in the nearest future, at least. What's the position of change management in that with an organization? How do you see that?
I see it as extremely necessary. And from my experience, change management really, to be done right, it really has to start at the top. It really has to start with the leadership team, from the CEO, even the board, down through the organization to say, we will change. And in many cases, it does require outside expertise. It requires facilitation of a structured process, because change is a long set of steps to go from need to change to having been changed, because it's shifting behaviors, it's shifting habits, it's shifting mindset. So the good news is there are organizations that have taken a leadership role in that arena. I've had the honor of working with Adobe over the last 15 years. I think they're a good example of starting from the beginning, shifting internally, shifting into the market, into customers. I do see other leading corporations. Microsoft is another good example. I think Zoom even is a good example that are driving forward. Where I do have concerns is the more traditional organizations in the industrial fields are more reticent to go all in. And personally, I believe that as the leadership teams reach a certain age and move into retirement and new people come into those leadership roles, those new people will be ready to jump in quickly to drive change. So for some, I think there's going to be some time. And that's where I hope that there's not more Kodaks or Nokias. Guido, you have a question, and you always have a point of view on these things.
Well, it's actually the organization behind me. It's the German universities that I'm looking at, which build the future leaders. And I see them especially as a monolithic block at present and not willing to change. It's very, very traditional. And if I see what we build for the future, nobody there is talking about, well, maybe talking about leadership, but nobody's leading.
Yeah.
And nobody is teaching these people that they will learn something that they need to learn again and again and again and again. So it's a never-ending story of learning. And that is not what they teach. They teach what we teach today is like the Bible. And it's not the Bible. Well, it is the Bible because it's almost as old and as or almost as past. So that's where I see the problem. And we need, just today, IMD has officially given away the data of the most attractive countries in the world. In terms of, are we able to adopt to change, Germany comes out 64th out of 65.
Oy.
here we go. And this is just what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing that not in individual peoples, but I'm seeing that in culture. It's very deeply in culture.
Exactly. There we go. So
Yeah.
let me deep dive into this and make it relatable from a different perspective. What is needed is personal change. Personal change is hard. The older you get, the more set in your ways you are. Men, I'll talk about men, the older they get into office space, the more they feel that they earn the right to be where they are in the position that they are, you know, and that they're sort of become this wise person. That mindset, that culture that exists, not just in Germany, it's a mindset of in the corporate world and probably small, medium business as well. It is very detrimental today, extremely detrimental when it comes to the technology and the AI and the rate of change that we've been talking about. And also because of the Gen Z and then Gen Alpha. They're made of a completely different, they're open, they talk, and they do what they want. They will accept the job, and the first day of the job, they'll walk in the office to look around and go, I'm out of here. Change is personal. So what you're seeing in the office is people not able to change where they are in life. And that is the type of leader you need today. So let me play with everybody's head. Who was the person that changed you the most in your life? And the short answer to that, if you want to play with that, and this could be your wife and your husband, but that's not where I'm going. The answer to that question was your grammar school teachers. They were the one who taught you, right, how to behave and what is right and wrong, and they changed you and they molded you. That type of teacher is the type of people we need again in our lives in the office space, who are able to help people in that moment of discomfort and frustration. I've been doing things this way, that way, and it doesn't work anymore. Oh, just listen to me. That's how people feel. You need a different type of leader. It's not a corporate leader. We need a different type of leader. And in this time of AI, for the philosophers, historians, people from the arts are one of the most highest, in the highest demand in the world of AI, because they see the world different. And they're able to communicate in a much better way to lift people up. So the company that will do the best is the one that understands, as you said, Guido, the cultural change has to change, and we're going to change the culture by introducing different people into organization, have a new type of leader. This leader doesn't come with 40 years of gas line pipe experience or whatever, you know? This person comes with 40 years of, they're an anthropologist. Maybe that's what we need now. So this is where we are. And it's a very difficult time for a lot of people, because things aren't working the way they used to and people don't know what to do anymore. But it's worked so well for the last 10, 20 years. Look at the cars I have, the boats, the yachts, look at my position. That means nothing today. So you put your finger into something very personal, because change is personal. It's not anybody's fault, it's your fault. And that's a hard message to tell an adult.
And change happens when people have a problem.
Yeah.
We change when the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change. Thomas, before too much time goes by, I would love for you to share a couple of your examples that you have promised us here.
I promised.
That's how people are starting to change.
Please let me know when you see my slides.
Yes, all good.
Wonderful. Okay. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to provide use cases of AI in the actual office space. Not just use cases, but I want to explain how everyone on this call, or everyone who watches this video after we put it on YouTube and Spotify, the recording, how you can actually benefit from AI. And with Jennifer's wonderful presentation, I didn't want to interrupt because she was on a wonderful roll. But one of the things I wanted to say was that one of the ways you could use AI or benefit from AI is you don't have to be tech savvy, just talk to it. So I'm going to show you some videos on how you actually can use ChatGPT, the latest 1.4.0, and how you could talk to it and benefit and all that. So I hope you enjoy this hands-on demo. I have 3 different videos, 3 different demos on how you actually could benefit from AI today. So let's start just having some fun right now. So first AI I want to show you, for all of you, is I spoke in the 3 sessions we had before this. I talked about how in the Western countries, United States and Europe, are leading the AI revolution. Very much Silicon Valley, where Jennifer's from, is leading the AI revolution with OpenAI and Facebook, with Meta, and all these LLM models that are doing incredibly well. But then I said, be careful or be aware of Asia, specifically China, who are catching up very fast. And they have caught up. So what I want to show you then here is something a little bit different that is not on everybody's radar, but is going to change many things. This is text to video. The name of the company is Luma. They're a Chinese company. And the program is called Dream Machine. So this is the equivalent to OpenAI's Sora, if you're following the AI world, a lot of hype. So Sora is not available to anybody but that famous, who's that? Alex Kushner, Ashton Kushner. I'm not very good with Hollywood names. He has his own private beta of Sora, but none of us normal mortals have access to it because we're not a Hollywood star. But us normal mortals, we have access to Luma. So if you go into Google and type in Luma Dream Machine, you will find a web page. And what is it? It is what you're seeing here. This is the page after I logged in. It's free. By the way, there's no cost whatsoever. So once you log in, you just type in text what type of video you wanted to create. And I created 2 videos, and I'm only going to show you one. I'm going to show you one in the bottom left. The first video I created was the one in the bottom right, and I typed in text. You can see what I wrote in text. I wrote a Norwegian man running down, and it says, "Call Johan wearing a pair of skis." And that's what it created. It was a horrible video. The quality wasn't that good. So then I created a second video, and this is the one I'd like to show you. I wrote in the text field on the top, as you see, if you type some text or add an image, I just wrote, I wrote a beautiful Norwegian woman walking down Aker Brygge. Now, I'll play the video and I'll talk over it. So this is, now, by the way, I put down 5 minutes. So because I'm using the free version and they have a paid version, if I chose the paid version, it would have been done in 30 seconds. But because I'm in the free version, it put me further down the queue. So irregardless, I typed in text, a beautiful Norwegian woman walking down Aker Brygge, and this is the video I created. Understand what, okay, the video quality isn't 100% perfect, but understand what has just changed. Why is Hollywood paying attention to AI today, especially text to video? If you are a writer, a screenwriter, a film writer, a book writer, your book comes to life when you upload it to these text to video creations. The entire social media today is all about video. TikTok's about video, Instagram about video, pictures. Now, if you are able to write text, you now can bring that text to life. Think about your marketing team, the cost of creating videos for your next product launch. All you need to do is take the manual or the description, upload it, and it'll create the video for you. This is where I'm going. I think this is super exciting. And I'll go back a little bit. And again, this is something that every one of you can use today. It's Luma Dream Machine. It costs nothing to play with it and is available. It's one of the few text to video programs, AI programs available today for everyone. Okay, and there's a large queue because it's free. Everybody wants to use it, but start playing. Okay, and have some fun. And if you really want to see some crazy stuff, if you have kids in your house, show them that. Give them a couple of minutes and you'll see some really crazy videos. But you now, everyone on this call, you now are a movie producer. Congratulations, you have a new occupation. Okay, I like 5% commission on all the money you make in the future, but I'm just joking. Let's go to the next one. So this next one is quite amazing. So this is ChatGPT 4.0, which has been out now for about 2.5 months. And the functionality that I'm about to show you in the demo has not been released, but I want to present it to you in a different way. All of us have been on way too many Teams calls and Zoom calls. I'm not going to even get into it, okay? But you as a leader, you don't scale. You cannot attend every single Teams call that you would love to be on with all your people and all your groups. It's not possible. You also would love to, after that call, if you have 15 people, 20, 30, whatever, even 5, you would love to have a one-on-one right after that call and have a conversation with that person. Okay, did you understand the 3 deliverables that you have? Let's spend some time now to go through those 3 deliverables. Let's do some creative thinking and things like that. Wouldn't that be wonderful to have that much time to attend every single group call and then have a one-on-one with everybody from that group call right after? Welcome to ChatGPT 4.0. All right. So what I'm about to show you now is this is a demo released by OpenAI, the people who create ChatGPT. Excuse me. And the subject matter, so is a weird subject matter. They're talking about, the people in this call are either, they're saying, who's a dog person or who's a cat person? So I didn't choose the subject, that's the video. But what I want you to do is have some patience in the beginning of the video as they talk about what they like about dogs and cats. But then when the black circle starts talking, that's ChatGPT. It's not just recording like Jennifer initiated the recording capabilities. It's not recording. It's actually running the Teams call or the Zoom call. It is a manager who is managing the call, discussing what everybody's discussed. It is the virtual version of you that could attend every one of your Teams meetings, every one of your Zoom meetings, and then after that, you could have a personal meeting with everybody on the call. So with that setup, let me just play the video. And hopefully I planted this picture in your head, and enjoy the experience. And this has not been launched. I just checked 3 days ago. They're planning on launching it this summer. So as of this summer, you can actually manage one-on-one every one of the people that work for you. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Lillian, and today I want to do a small debate about between cats and dog. Which one do you like? I like dog because it's a great companion to humans. It's cute, it's loyal, and you can play outside with the dog. How about you, Ola?
Yeah, my name is Ola. I think cats are better because they're more affordable, they're more quiet, they're more independent, and they live longer.
Interesting points. Sounds like we've got a classic dogs versus cats debate here. I can see the appeal of both. Dogs are super loyal and great companions, but cats have their own charm with their independence and low maintenance lifestyle.
Who likes cats?
It sounds like Ola is more of a cat person.
And who
How
like
about the rest
dogs?
of you? Lillian mentioned she likes dogs. Anyone else here team dog?
I'm also team dog. My name is Christine, and I think dogs are just incredible with kids. We've got a huge German Shepherd, and he's great with little toddlers. He lets them play all over them, and yeah, I think dogs are amazing.
That's great to hear, Christine. Dogs, especially breeds like German Shepherds, can be so gentle and protective with kids. It must be quite the sight seeing your little ones play with such a big dog.
Can you summarize this meeting for us?
Sure. So, in today's meeting, Lillian and Christine express their love for dogs, highlighting their loyalty, companionship, and how great they are with kids. On the other hand, Ola prefers cats for their independence, quietness, and longevity. It was a fun little debate on the classic dogs versus cats topic.
That is ChatGPT 4.0. You don't have to be a nerd to use it. You just talk to it. This is not intimidating. This is what we do naturally and have been doing since the whole COVID thing. This is the virtualization of a type of leader. I won't say of leadership in over the whole, but a type of leader. You as a leader, you can actually talk to ChatGPT, prepare it, update it for the meeting, and it can attend the meeting potentially for you because you don't scale, and run the meeting based on the way you want to run the meeting and make sure those points are met. So I wrote down some bullet points here. One, you saw how patient it was. Not many of us have patience when these meetings get on going and you have a long day and all that. The AI has patience, and people appreciate a leader who has patience. It also is creative. Remember, it's ChatGPT. So during that call, if people wanted to start doing troubleshooting, it's ChatGPT. It will come up with ideas all the time, nonstop. It's working 24/7, right? So this is just one example I wanted to give you, and I want to give you one more, and then I'll be done. But I want to really make everybody comfortable with where we are. If you can talk, or if you can write text in English, I think also probably in Japanese, Chinese, because it was written by a Chinese company, then you can make movies as well. So let's do one more demo. This again is ChatGPT 4.0, and you have to, of course, pay for it. And this functionality is not available. Now, what the video will show you is the gentleman to the right, by the way, the father, he's actually the founder of Khan Academy. So that's really incredible. They got him on the video, and that's his son. And ChatGPT is on the mobile phone that's looking above at his, I guess that's an iPad, and he's trying to do his trigonometry homework, but he can't do it. So ChatGPT is going to act as a tutor and tutor his son with the homework and is going to watch what the son does, and it's as if it's a tutor in the room. It's mind-boggling. But you, all of you on this call, the way I want you to look at it is, how dependent upon you are on consultants? Or how much would you love to have the world's best consultant who has 40, 50 years of experience, who's traveled the world, who actually talked to different clients? Wouldn't you love to have that person with you, giving you advice at all time? That is how I want you to watch this video. This video is ChatGPT actually a tutor to the son. But as you watch the video, I want you to experience and say, if I was that kid and the way it talked to me and the way it was patient, it explained things to me, that's the type of a consultant I want. And that's what ChatGPT is going to deliver when they make this public this summer. So enjoy the video. I may stop it a little bit towards the end because it's kind of long once I think that we get the point. But I want you to see how beautiful the interaction and the talking and how it's following what he does. So with that, let's begin the video and enjoy the experience of your new 24/7 consultant.
OpenAI invited myself and my son Imran here to try out some of their new technology. And so we're curious about how good it might be at tutoring someone in math on Khan Academy. So let's get it started. It's loading up. All right, make sure it can see our screen.
Actually, in this format,
Hello there.
I can't.
I'm here with my son, and I'd love you to tutor him on this math problem, but don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction, but I really want to make sure he understands it himself. And he's here in the room, so you can talk to him directly.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse relative to angle alpha?
All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the angle alpha right here, right?
Perfect. That's correct. Now, looking at the triangle, which side do you think is the hypotenuse?
Really,
Remember the hypotenuse?
I'm not totally sure. I think it might be this one, but I really am not sure. This side AC.
You're close. Actually, side AC is called the adjacent side to the angle alpha. The hypotenuse is the longest side of a right triangle and is directly opposite the right angle. Can you find which one is the hypotenuse?
Oh, okay, I see. So I think the hypotenuse is this really long side from A to B. Would that be correct?
Exactly. Well done. Now that you've identified the hypotenuse, can you identify which side is the opposite side to angle alpha?
Okay, well, I mean, you told me earlier that this was the adjacent side, and I know that's the hypotenuse, so I'm guessing that this side, BC, is the opposite side.
Great deduction. That's absolutely correct. Now that you've identified all the sides relative to angle alpha, do you remember the formula for finding the sine of an angle in a right triangle?
Yeah, I know that the sine is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse.
Perfect. That's absolutely right. Now, can you apply that formula to find sine alpha in the triangle using the lengths of the sides that we've identified?
Okay, so, I mean, you told me that 7, this side BC, is the opposite side. And then you said that the hypotenuse is the longest side, so that would be this side AB, which is 25. So would the answer be 7 over 25?
Excellent work. That's correct. Sine alpha equals 7 over 25. You did a great job identifying the sides and using the sine formula. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask.
How would you love to have a consultant who's that patient with you? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Able to explain to you something that maybe you've been struggling with, something that your entire executive team is struggling with. How would it be to have that AI in your boardroom helping to plan the next strategy session? This is where we are today. And this is the power of ChatGPT 4.0. all they had to do was talk. And it not only listened, but it also watched what he drew or what he did. The same way when you're working on a problem, you're writing something on the PC in Word, you're writing a strategy plan or something, ChatGPT will be with you in that Word document, helping you to write it, answering questions, giving you input. This is the place, this is the state of where we are with AI. And this functionality will be available this summer. So that's it for my demo. If I click again, you're going to see the screen of my desktop with my kids, and Jennifer is going to laugh at me, so I'm not going to click again. But I'll stop sharing, bring us back as a group.
So
If
just
any questions, please go right ahead.
one observation as I see these demos, which are extremely powerful, I could envision that some people are thinking, well, people can be replaced. And if AI can run the meeting, maybe other employees can send their AI to be in the meeting. It's all about technology working with technology. I would say that yes, that may actually be the reality in the future, that some events will happen AI to AI. However, from all the studies that I've seen, the thing that technology is still missing is that human intuition, that detailed context of critical thinking, that empathy, that ability to reach out to that employee and say, I know last year you went through a difficult time personally, and I know this is a topic that's important to you, and I know where you want to go in your career. How can we work together? So I would suggest that the more that our AIs do the meetings, because really, how many of us really enjoy sitting in team meetings? Our AIs do those. That allows the good, empathetic leader to really work with their people, to build that trust, that influence, and do what people can do best. So that's just one observation from a few things in the chat tonight. I do want to recognize that Kurt Ward had a point that he wanted to make around change management, which I think is a critical element for people to adopt these technologies. Kurt, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. So I didn't want to interrupt anything, so I wanted Jennifer to facilitate when was the appropriate time. So there were comments made about the biggest element of change or the focus of change needs to be the individual. And I recognized this a long time ago. Real quick snapshot, Reader's Digest version. I was a Marine, so I got out. I went into the business element, economics, MBA. Then I went into technical, industrial engineering, manufacturing engineering. And when I became a supervisor, what kind of leader do you think I was? Well, I was a very good Marine. So that worked back in 1960. Sorry, that was in 1975 to about 1985. And then I started running into problems because the difference between the age of who my people are and the kind of leader they wanted needed to be different. So my style didn't work with about 10% of the people really well. And then the other 90%, it was either marginal or worked in reverse. So I had to go to quote unquote school to learn how to focus on myself and change my style in line with what the needs of my people were. And yes, I did take an attitude that you guys had talked about, which was, hey, look, I've got experience now. I've been in the field for 10 years. You guys need to listen. That wasn't working. So what I did was I figured out, wait a minute, my job needs to be a facilitator, not quote unquote a manager. And that facilitating role need to be a facilitating role that creates the best environment to accelerate change both within the organization with the resources of my people who were industrial engineers, which means, or manufacturing engineers, which means they're everything about change and they always cause change. So how to help them affect and implement change more quickly. And instead of meetings, oh, by the way, people hate meetings because meetings are poorly run. The meetings we were in, we all loved it because one, we all built the rules. We all agreed that participation was the reason why we were here. And my job as a leader was to leverage the participation of everybody, because not everybody in the room is on an equal footing for contributing. So you have to pay attention to what's going on. And like, interesting that the AI picked up that other people in the room had not contributed. I don't know how that did that, but it did. And that's what a good facilitator leader is supposed to do. So Tom, you haven't said anything yet. What are your thoughts? Well, usually the quiet one in the room is somebody who is a deep thinker and has been listening to everything that's been going on. And when they open their mouth, it's like, wow, that is a valuable contribution. So I'll stop there. My whole point is to reinforce what you guys already said, which is a leader has to be something different now. And we were going through huge automation changes in 85 all the way into 1990 and beyond. And this was at Intel, but I worked at other high-tech companies and so on. And so it's no different. AI is just another technology, and that resistance to change, there's managers now that are going, well, that's just another technology type of, you know, fluff, current thing of the moment. We'll get there. I don't want to be the first one out. I don't want to be bleeding edge. We understand all that, but I love the way that you introduced AI. Hey, you don't have to be a nerd to use it. Just freaking talk to it. So you guys have got a really powerful message there. But what I'd like to suggest is when you talk about the change in leadership, talk about how leaders need to be facilitators now and leverage the knowledge and the power of their people. And that is so rewarding to see individuals turn into a powerful freaking team that go way beyond, because I've had C and B players play as a team at A+, only because I did not second guess what they could or couldn't do. I just facilitated that to leverage everything that they might be able to do. And I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling what some people as working as a team can achieve. And then with AI, it's powerful. One last comment. Jennifer, I think you're warning about the I'm going to send my AI to the meeting. That's totally going to happen, lady. That's totally going to happen. So
other
I'll leave it there.
comments or questions? Other comments or questions? Amari has put the link to the survey in the chat. If anyone needs to dive off, we appreciate very much you joining us. Thomas and I will be here for another at least 40 minutes, and we encourage more discussion and more dialogue.
Yeah, we respect a lot of you are busy. You don't have to stay around, but if you like, we will stay here, like you said, for the next 30, 40 minutes just to keep the conversation going.